Hey there, my name's Amanda.
I'm Sherry.
And we are the mother-daughter designers at Monroe Home, where we help you transform the ordinary home into an extraordinary home.
That is exactly what to do. And today we have got such a fun project for you.
Today we're going to be making a extra large floral foam flower.
That's exactly what we're going to be making.
Flower. That's what we call it.
Flower. That's hard to say, isn't it? I am so excited about this. This is a little different from what we usually do, but it's going to be gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it will be perfect for your front door, or it would be great to go in a little girl's room, or there's all kinds of uses for this.
I think this would be really pretty at like a baby shower.
Yes,
You can make several sizes. Today we're going to show you how to make the extra large one, but of course, you know, you can size it based on your needs.
That's
you can
exactly
make several
right.
different sizes. You could have an extra large, medium one, a small
wouldn't that
one.
be so
That'd
cute?
be really cute too. But
yeah,
we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to show you what we're working with today. So we have just craft foam sheets. Now you can get these in a variety of colors. Today we're going to be using pinks and whites, but you know, whatever color you wanted to, you could do that with. We've got an 8-inch metal wreath form. We've got some plastic canvas, and you can get these at, you know, pretty much any craft store. You can find that. We've got a floral foam ball. And we've got some yarn. You could use any type of yarn would work for this. And then you're going to need some zip ties, which I have several here. You're going to need a good many of those. So you want to probably buy a whole pack of those. And of course we've got hot glue and scissors. And I think that's about it.
I think that's it. That's right.
So we're going to go ahead and get started.
That's right.
But the first thing we're going to do is make the center of our flower. So you're going to need a foam ball. These are about 4 inches, and you can find them at pretty much any craft store. You may be even able to find them at Walmart and Dollar Tree. But you're just going to find the center of your ball, and it does not have to be perfect. You're just going to kind of eyeball it. Now you're going to use hot glue for this, so of course you want to be careful because it is really hot, of course. So just put a nice sized dot right there in the center. And you're going to put your yarn down there. Now I use this little silicone pad that I've got and press it down so that I can avoid burning myself. And you're just going to hold it down just for a second, just until it dries. And so these are really simple to make. They do take a little bit of time, but all you have to do is just take your yarn and just kind of swirl it around. So you want to keep adding little bits of glue. And you just keep swirling around with your yarn. Every now and then I'll kind of pat it just to make sure it's sticking really well.
Will you be doing the whole ball or just part of the ball?
I'll be doing about 3/4 of the ball. This is what you're going to do all the way around. So, like I said, it's not hard. It just takes a little bit of time. Add a little bit of glue to the glue gun.
It's going to be so cute.
Yeah, it is really cute when it's done.
And really, you could do anything with this. If you didn't want to use yarn, you could use, you know, the jute instead, or you could even just put a bunch of beads on it. You know, cover it in beads. There's all kinds of things you could do.
And so I'm going to keep working on this because we're just going to go all the way around just like this. And like I said, we're going to cover about 3/4 of the ball. So we're going to leave just a little bit of the bottom so that we can stick it on our, on the middle of our flower. So I'm going to cover the rest of it in the yarn. And while I finish this, we're going to show you how to make the petals.
Now we're going to make our petals, and we are using several shades of pink along with a white one. You can do these in any color like we said, but I am going to start with my largest petal. We've got 5 different sizes that we're going to be making, and I'm just going to freehand this to start with. You could make a pattern and then do the rest of your petals like that, but this one, I know that I want this one, since it's the large one, to be as large as this paper is. So I'm first going to make 2 slits in the bottom, about 1 inch long and about 2 inches wide, and then I'm just going to make a petal. So I want it to be wide, so I'm going to make it all the way to the side just like that. And then for the top, I'm just going to make it kind of wavy. And this is there, you do not have to make this perfect by no means, just kind of make a little wavy petal just like this. I just know that my middle one I want to be my tallest, just like that. And I have a little point right here, so I'm just going to cut that point off and just round it. I'm going to come down to this end and then just continue on just like this, and then come to my slit. So that's going to be my largest petal. So I want 8 of these this size. So that's my large one. Now my next one, I'm still going to be using a full sheet of my foam, and I'm still going to cut about 1 inch out of the middle just like that, and about 2 inches wide for the bottom. And I'm going to come up, and I'm not going to quite get all the way. I'm going to just about get all the way to the side, but I'm going to be able to round it out and then make my waves. And like I said, this does not have to be perfect. Your first one, we want that one to end up being 12 by 9. This one's going to be 10 by about 8.5. So as long as you make sure it's around that size, it will be fine. And this foam is very, very easy to cut. So you can just cut it out just like that. And like I said, you do not have to make it perfect. Just kind of make some waves at the top, and then just kind of come around and make it rounded just like that. Okay, now our next one, this one I'm actually going to cut this way because it's going to be smaller. This one, now that one was 10 by 8.5. This one's going to be 8.5 by 6. So I'm still going to cut my slits, but this time they're only going to be 1.5 inches at the bottom instead of 2 inches. Now I'm going to come around and if you wanted to draw these out, you could, and then just trace those. But like I said, I'm just freehanding it and just making some waves at the top. And if you don't get them exactly rounded just right, that's okay, because by the time you get it on here, it's still going to look beautiful. So there you go, that's that one. And this one is 8.5 by 6. Now, the next two are going to be our smallest ones. This one is going to be 5 by 4.5, so I've actually just cut my my large piece of foam in half. This one I'm still going to make my 1-inch slits, but these are only going to be 1 inches wide as well at the bottom. And I'm just going to come around and then just make my little waves. And come back down. Just like that. And you see that it's not perfect, but once we get it in, it will be just fine. This last one, now that one was 5 inches by 4.5. So 5 inches tall by 4.5 inches wide. This one is going to be 4.5 inches tall and 3.5 inches wide. And our slit at the bottom, we're still going up about 1 inch, and it's only going to be 1 inch across. The main thing to remember when doing these, you just want to step down in size. Like I said, they do not have to be perfect. Once you make the first one of each set, then just copy those from then on out, and then as long as they're all the same size for each ring that you make, then it's fine. And so this one is 4.5 by 3.5. So now let's get these on our wreath. Okay, now that we've got our foam cut, our foam petals, I did not tell you how many to cut, but we're gonna, on the extra large we need 8, on the large we need 8, on the medium we need 6, and then on the next two we need 8. So you need 8 of each one except for the medium, and that's going to be 6 of those.
And so I also have our center finished, and if you'll notice, I just went all the way around and I left about 1/4 of the bottom undone. And we'll show you how to attach that towards the end. So the next thing you're going to do is attach your metal wreath frame to your canvas pieces, and these come in sheets, large sheets like that. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to cut it to fit whatever size frame you're using. Now we're using an 8-inch frame. If you're using a larger one or a smaller one, you would just cut all the way around it, and you just want just a little bit left over. Now I have also attached this metal frame to the canvas, and I just used zip ties and attached it in 4 different spots. Very easy to do.
Yes, and you can leave it square. You do not have to make it round because it's going to be in the back, and that's actually going to help keep those petals pushed forward like you're going to want them to be. So it's good to leave them square.
Yeah.
We're going to attach our petals, but the first thing with our largest one, and this is the only set that you have to do this in, but we're going to fold our little end in half, and then we're going to use our scissors, and we want to make a hole all the way through right here at the bottom. And the reason that we want to do that is because with this being so large, and see, I'm just coming through and making a hole all the way through, and we're going to put our zip tie through there. The reason that we do that is we want our petal to be like this, and once we get it on, if we have our zip tie here, it will allow the petal to come back like we want it to. So we're going to make our little hole, and then this is going to be zip tied to the middle ring right here of our wreath. So we're going to start here where there's this bar right here. I'm going to start right beside that, and I'm going to just push my zip tie through one of the little holes. I want to make sure I've got it turned right. There we go. And I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to put my zip tie in through that hole that I just made. So just push it through that hole, just like that. And then I'm going to bring this back through the back and then zip tie it together. Now your first few are going to kind of lay down, but once you get them all, we're going to also glue, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So it will be standing up exactly like you want it to do. And this is a little fiddly, so it might take you just a minute to get it where you want it to be. But I'm just going to bring this around to the back and then zip tie it. Now I want to make sure I've got it good and tight, so I always take my wire cutters and just pull, and I keep my thumb on the end of the zip tie just like that, just to make sure I've got it good and tight. And then just cut off that end, and that's going to be your first petal, just like this. And we've got this end, you won't be able to see that once we get them all on. So we've got that one. Now I'm going to take my next one, and I did these in different colors. You can do them in different colors, every one of them. You know, they'd be beautiful like in a rainbow of colors, that kind of thing. But I just did different shades of pink. So I'm going to do the same thing that I just did. With this one, I'm going to come right next to where this one was zip tied, just like this. And then I'm going to bring my petal over, and I'm going to put it through my holes like this. So get it through your first part of your petal and then your second part, and then just pull that zip tie. And don't worry about how it's laying or anything like that. You just want to get it zip tied on here. We can arrange it and get it facing like we want to and all of that after we get it zip tied on. Well, we're just gonna push this in the back and then come around. Now I am gonna kind of turn it just like that, come around to the back. And then again, I'm just gonna take my wire cutters and pull it really, really tight, and then cut those off. Now I'm going to continue on around doing the exact same thing, and don't worry about how this bottom, as long as it's secure, it's going to be fine. But I'm just going to continue on around with all of my petals.
Once you have all of your extra large petals on, then you're going to take your glue gun, and you're just going to just put a little dot of glue between the petals, just right at the edge, and you're going to just stick them down. You're going to have to wait a second and make sure it holds good, but you're just going to put a little dot of glue on each petal. And now you're really only going to have to do this on the extra large petals, and you kind of want to flip them back just like that. And I've got most of mine already glued. Just hold them down just like that until it dries. It'll just take a second. Now you're going to start on your second layer of petals. Okay, and so what you want to do with this layer, or this row, you want to pinch it almost like a little accordion. So pinch it between your fingers, and again you're going to take your zip ties and you're going to attach these also again to your second metal ring. And we're going to zip tie it just like we did the others. But with this one, you don't have to go through holes because you're not going to be putting any holes in it. So you're just going to attach it around your second metal ring. Cut off the end there of my zip tie. And again, it doesn't really matter what it looks like when you get it on there. We'll fix it later. There we go. You're just going to continue all the way around until you have all of your petals on.
I've finished my second row and I've put on all except for my last of my third row. Now this third row, our medium size petals, go on the very inner ring of our wreath frame. So I am just going to put this last petal on. And get that tightened. Okay. All right, so now we've got our first two layers on. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my next two layers. The, what is that? The fourth one, I'm going to actually zip tie to the canvas plastic right in here. So it will be zip tied all the way around. They will be zip tied just as close as I can get them to the bottoms of this wreath, of this petal. And then the next one will go in the center a little closer. So you want those, and you'll see those. I'm going to put them, but they will not be on a ring. These two next rows go directly onto the canvas. So I'm going to come in here from the back, and I'm just going to put my zip tie as close as I can to the bottom here. And then I'm going to go ahead, it's going to be easier, so I just skip one of my little squares in my canvas and go ahead and push my zip tie through to the back here. And I'm going to go ahead and push it through and just let it click one time. And when it clicks that one time, then I can turn it over and I can push my zip tie up so that I've got my ring right there. And I'm going to take my petal and just push it through the ring, just like that. And then I'm going to come around to the bottom and tighten it. And I'm going to do this with the next two rows.
So once you have your petals exactly where you want them, now you have to glue in your center. And so, like I said, we've got our foam covered in our little, what's it called?
Yarn.
Yarn. Yarn. That's
Yep.
it. So we've got our yarn covered ball, and we left some of the back uncovered. So we're just going to put a good bit of glue.
Yeah, you want to put a good bit so it will stay on. But that's why we don't do the whole ball. You want to leave a part of it uncovered.
Okay, so you just got a good bit of glue on there.
Yep.
And then you're just going to glue it right to the center.
Right to the
just
center.
Kind of push it down there, wiggle it around.
And then just hold it.
Yeah, just hold it a little bit.
You arrange your petals so that they are just like you want them. And I have to tell you a little word of advice. You know, I showed you how I tightened the zip ties. Well, as I was doing one of the zip ties, I busted my lip open with my wire cutters. So be very careful when you do that, because now I have a fat lip.
Yes.
So leave it to me.
Okay. Try to be careful with it.
Yep. Just be careful.
Things can happen.
Yes, they can.
All right. So I think that's glued on there pretty good now.
Yep.
There you go. We have our flower wreath.
Isn't that cute? And
It is
just
cute.
think of all the color combinations that you can do with this, and it will just be adorable.
Yeah, and you can kind of move around your
Petals,
petals
exactly, and get them exactly how you want them. And I tell you something else, you can change the look of your petals if you wanted to do just a, let's see, I don't know if you can see one of these flowers here, but they've got a little point on the end and they're just rounded with a point. You could do that. Any kind of little design that you wanted to do, and it makes each flower look a little different.
But isn't that cute?
Isn't that cute and easy? It takes a little time, but it's very easy.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, it just really stands out.
It
And
does.
it would be so cute, like we said, at a baby shower or even on a front door.
Yes, it really would. You just want to make sure that it's covered, since it is a foam material. But yes, it would be adorable on a door. So there you go.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this.
Yes.
Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not done so already. And if you will, just click the little bell so you get notified when we release new videos.
That's right. You never know what we'll do.
I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.